Hello and welcome back to Shining Force 2. Just finished checking the previous video and it seems to have all worked fine. So hopefully whatever issue was going on with the recording last time is now gone. I think probably I had this thing open in the background that I think may have, I think I in my sound panel had it set to not play out to the speakers, but I think the fact that it had an audio, may have messed with the recording. Not sure. First, let's create another save here in slot 2. That did the thing I wanted, right? Yes, good. Now we'll go to full screen. Okay, so last time we built our new town, and it's a year later. We've been living in Parmesia for a year, and we've just met our new friend, this guy behind me, Peter, who is a phoenix, the legendary bird. He got injured his wings, so he can't go back to his home on Mt Volcano in the east alone. We're gonna escort him. And as soon as he showed up in our town to ask for help, the local children tried to beat him up while adults looked on and did nothing. So, we're terrible. So as you can see, we're on the world map. This game, unlike the first one where you're only on a static screen ever, in this one you can travel between different screens. It doesn't have smooth scrolling like they are distinct screens. You hit the edge and go to the right, as we just are here. And unfortunately, it's also rather large, so I find it quite easy to get lost. He said east, right? I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way. Oh wait, no, this is where we were before. Okay, I've been on the world map for less than a minute, and I already got lost. Friends, I'm not saying that this is a preview of the rest of this Let's Play, but I'm just saying maybe. I really, really have no sense of direction in real life or in video games. Okay, here we are. We gotta go down here. The guide I'm using will just say, go to the next battle. It doesn't, say where they are. Ah, here we are. We've walked into the battle. Let's take a peek at the map. Basically, it's a big, giant outdoor map. It's gonna be time-consuming to fight, but, we'll just have to walk across the whole thing, basically. Sweet. Okay, so I think it's the next battle after this where there's the person with the power ring. Just check it. I want to get that power ring really good. I missed it last time. This is my chance to get it. This battle, based on my last playthrough of it, it may take a little while. It's kind of slow, and I think it's honestly just because the map is so large that it takes a while to actually get to all the enemies. Oh, side note here, so you can see Peter is up here in the corner. He is a party member, he has stats, he can gain experience and levels, but we don't actually control him yet. He is AI controlled. He'll only fully join the party as a controllable member after we've brought him home and chatted with Volcano, basically. So where he moved just there, that was by himself. I did not direct that. I think his AI is fairly cautious, basically. He usually only moves 3 spaces a turn. And if there's an enemy in range, he'll attack. I'm assuming they did that so that he doesn't just rush out in front and either constantly get himself killed or steal your exp or whatever, or mess with your strategy. But it does mean that he tends to fall behind the rest of the group, so it's sort of hard to get him kills. We're only gonna do, I think, 2 or 3 battles before he properly joins, I think. So hopefully that'll, he won't fall too far behind, because it's gonna be hard to really get him any levels until we can control him, because we'd have to leave enemies alive until he actually reaches them, and that's pretty tough to do I found in the last game, and I think it will be the case in this one too, because the enemies actually do a fair amount of damage, so if you leave them there and they keep attacking you, and they will kill your guys eventually. We don't have that many heals to spare. Sarah still only has so much MP. So we kind of just have to, if an enemy is weakened, we gotta kill him. We can't just leave it for Peter. And maybe if he got there a little faster, but it would just take so long. So hopefully, we might have to do a little grinding to catch him up, but that'll be fine. He has something really interesting about him. He's a phoenix, right? And the legendary phoenix is the bird that dies and is reborn in the flames. Well, when he dies in battle, he comes back. We'll never need to res him. He does it all by himself. Which is also nice, because if by chance his AI gets him into danger before we can control him and gets him killed, we're not penalized for it. He'll come back all by himself. So that's a nice little design feature. And he keeps that even after he joins the party, so that's pretty nice. It definitely makes him very unique. All these goblin enemies take like a billion years to kill. I was wondering about this last time I recorded this also, and in the next town there will be weapon upgrades, and then in like the town after that there's even more weapon upgrades. So I do think part of the reason the enemies seem to just be taking a long time right now is because the enemies have been upgraded, but we haven't quite got the weapon upgrades yet. We're like about to, basically. But for now, these battles are just time-consuming. It's not that they're difficult, they just take a while because each enemy needs a few attacks, so we're just sitting there. And the map is just so large. The first game had this problem too with just enormous outdoor maps, but yeah, this one seems to have the same problem, basically. And my complaint about them is still that just there's not a lot to do on them, so we're just kind of... There's a lot of it where you're just walking, and it makes them take a really long time, without adding that much interest to it. You know, it's not like there's more content, it's just put into a larger space. So these... I'm hoping this will improve later in the game. We'll have a larger party later, a little larger. So I'm hoping that as the game goes on this will improve, but for now I would say that these outdoor maps are not the strong point for this game in terms of level design. These maps on like a big field basically, which unfortunately based on the look of the world map, I am getting the feeling that this is kind of what it's going to be like for a while for all the ones like that we just wander into. Still no HP for Huey. Well, we don't have enough party members yet to swap him out, so we'll at least try to keep him competitive. Slade's doing good. I gotta make sure Ben doesn't fall behind. He's the main character. We have to use him in every battle, so I gotta make sure he stays competitive. It is so strange to me that the Vampire Bat chose to attack with a physical attack instead of using Blaze 2 because we're lined up in a row. I thought that the AI had been improved in this game. I guess it wasn't improved to be like super good. It was only a little improved. Part of it is also the enemy turns take a while because the cursor has to scroll over to them, and it's not that fast. So it just, when the map is large, it just means that there's a lot of lag. There's a lot of little waiting. Ugh. The flying enemies dodging still pisses me off, just like in the first game, and it's because it makes the battle slower. It's like, great, now it's gonna take another turn to kill this guy. It's like, can we just move on with this? I want to get to the battle that's interesting and related to the plot, and then I haven't already played. Well, I guess sometimes we dodge too, you know, that's not so bad. I'm trying to get rid of this bat first because it can cast Blaze too, even though it didn't yet, so... Oh, but this is a perfect opportunity to use our own Blaze too, so, you know, priorities. It does a lot of damage, you know, it's kind of a waste not to use it. Critical hit, very nice. Good job, cousin. You get a lot of X too. This thing is still just attacking and not using its magic, even though, like, we're in position for it. Man, imagine if he had hit with that first attack, that would have been more than half of my health. The random double attacks can just completely screw you over. And there's not really a way to predict them or prevent them, it's just like a random RNG kind of thing. The cursor scrolling takes so freaking long. Back to my turn. I wish I could go through these battles a little fast. I realized that I could just edit them out, but A, you know, the point is to see the gameplay, right? And B, I would have to go find some editing software, hopefully free. So, you know, I'm not doing that. I actually will have to look some up because the video right before the one that fucked up and caused me to have to re-record this so many times, the fuck right at the end of that, so like the last couple minutes of it are messed up. And that's why I had to go back and play from that point. And if I want to cut that part out, I will actually need to trim the video. I think the software from the capture card may have a native function to do that. I mostly just don't want to have to pay for something. My budget was stretched to its limit just by obtaining a capture card. But yeah, I didn't really... I decided to... When I was gonna record Shining Force 1, I was not actually planning to do an entire Let's Play just of that. When I got my recording equipment, I just wanted to test it and make sure I knew how to use it and that it all worked correctly. You know, so in case of, like, I don't know, something was broken in the box or whatever. And you know, that was, I had the Genesis Collection on hand, I had just gotten it, and I was like, oh, I loved Shining Force Certification as a kid, and I was gonna play Shining Force 1 anyway, I might as well make the test recording with this game. And then it just kind of ended up being like, why not record the whole game? So it was kind of a random decision. And then it was like, well, I have Shining Force 2 on the same collection, you know. And then once I thought that, I was like, well, really though, my favorite was Shining Force Sword of Asia. And then I looked it up and I discovered that there was actually, Shining Force Sword of Asia was the second of the Gaiden games, and there was the first. And a collection with the two of them and some extra chapters or whatever came out for Sega CD back in the day. And there was also a sequel to both of those called Shining Force Gaiden Final Conflict, which was Japan only, but has a fan translation, and basically I now have all these ROMs, and without really planning to or thinking it through, have just like dedicated myself to recording all of the Shining Force games. Not even for any reason, really, I just like them. I don't know if any other... I honestly did not check if there are other Let's Plays of these out there. It's like, I honestly was not really planning to post the Shining Force 1 videos, they were just to learn the equipment. And I still haven't, so it's like, what does it matter? Realistically, it's possible no one will ever see them. Who can say? It's only in the future will it become clear. But anyway, I didn't really plan ahead to all of that. I was just kind of like, you know, sure. And I didn't really think ahead to the fact that tactics RPGs are really fun to play, but I don't actually think they're necessarily very interesting to watch someone else play. Because a lot of it is just like this, right? You're on a map, moving people around a grid. That's sort of all there is to it. And of course this game, you know, these little in-battle animations are pretty simplistic, so once you've seen them once, you've kind of seen them a lot. Like, they're really fun and engaging to play, I just... Are they something that you would want to watch someone else play? I honestly... I guess there's a reason why most LPs I have seen of tactics games have been screenshot LPs, because you can cut out a lot of all this part and just go only to the plot parts. Especially with these old games, it's not like they have voice acting or something. You don't really lose a lot from screenshots. But you know what? I would say that creating a product that no one actually wants or is interested in except for me is actually very on brand for me. That is kind of a description of my lifestyle. So why not, right? This is my hobby. Creating things that other people would not be interested in, but which I am interested in. I'm trying to prioritize the vampire bats here because their magic just can do a lot of damage. And although they can't cast Blaze 2 twice, even Blaze 1 is still a good chunk. So you want to take them out. They also can inflict status effects. I think they poison. Who's got hurt? Somebody's got hurt. He lost 10 HP. I'm trying to decide who to heal. Yeah, Slade is worse off. He has less HP to begin with, he's a little squishy. Excellent. Leveling up the healer. If you're thinking that compared to the first game, it seems like we're super far in level, considering that we're only, like, what, 6 battles into the game? Well, a little more than that. We're not that far in. The level cap here, the pre-promotion level cap, is 40. So we're not as far as it seems, because in the first game, you know, it was only 20, so it would be like, oh, we're like halfway there. Not the case here. This game, I think it's actually like twice as long. About twice as long as the first game. So it's pretty darn extensive. And that's just in terms of the number of battles. It also has, obviously, the wandering around the map section. So I'm honestly not sure how long it will take to play through the whole thing. I do know that from looking up on the internet, like, what's the deal with this game? How long is it? Apparently, someone did a speed run of it that just took, like, how many hours did they say? Was it like 8 hours? It wasn't as long as the full game, obviously. But it was like a very specific strategy of like hyper leveling Chester and like skipping most of the level by running ahead. You know, it was sort of a very precise strategy that you had to do. And obviously that wouldn't show off everything that there is in the game, you know. In general, obviously, a speedrun, the goal is to do it as fast as possible, so, you know, you won't get to see every little detail and, like, find every little hidden thing and all. Because that would obviously eat up your time. And the goal here is to show off the game, so it's gonna take time. Especially since, you know, this game does have the town exploring and stuff, so I want to show off all the different random NPCs and things. Oh, when will this battle end? See, like, this is not a particularly difficult battle, it just is taking a long time. It's not very exciting. We're almost done though. I think there's like 2 enemies left. I haven't even been checking like whose levels are higher and who needs the next level up or whatever, because I'm like, whatever, I can grind everyone up later. I just want to get the battle done and get on to the interesting part. Honestly, the battles taking so long is part of why, for all of Shining Force 1, the episodes were mostly like an hour long. Because the battles just take so long that to keep it to half an hour, it would have to be like a video of a battle and nothing else, which I think wouldn't be very interesting. So was trying, in that game, which is obviously structured a little differently since it's like town battle. Here there's more wandering. But you know, in that game I was like, I want to try and fit the town exploring into the same episode as a battle so that there's more variety. But that does take quite a bit of time. Ugh. This battle. Maybe I should try and keep them a little shorter. No, well, it also, if they're shorter, it's like not as punishing if something happens to the recording, you know. Because you can cut them into smaller chunks. Here we are in Ribble. Here's the town. Unfortunately, this is not a very friendly town, as we're about to discover, because the second we step in the gate, this random person accuses us of being a spy from the new town, which is amazing to me because A, a town with spies, like for the neighboring towns, that seems very bizarre. And B, it suggests that in the year that we've been living in this place, we never bothered to walk over and introduce ourselves to these people. Also, frankly, we seem to be a fair distance from them, so I don't know why they're that concerned about us. We like, don't affect them at all. You're back again, Mayor. It's interesting that he said again. It suggests that maybe there have been some strangers in town and he's confused us with them. Anyway, we are gonna have to go talk to the mayor. Oh, this tree in the middle of town is gonna be important eventually. There's a hollow to put something into, so eventually. And there's also a hidden mithril here. This right here shows exactly why I'm using a guide. Like, you'd really have to just search every random, unusual looking square of the game to find all this stuff, and that would be kind of annoying. And the number of mithril you get throughout the game is strictly limited. Like, it's tied. There's only so many weapons you can make, and you get like per weapon. So if you miss some mithrils, you just never get those weapons. Who are you? What are you? Why are you? A group of soldiers were just here. Soldiers must be waiting beyond the gate. Be careful. Now, that does raise the question of where the soldiers came from. Like, were they actually from our town, or like, has someone been up to no good? You're so persistent. What do you want? You suddenly appear in Parmesia and build a castle? This guy does have a point. We showed up out of nowhere and built a castle and didn't tell anyone why we were doing that. I don't know who you are, but all big cities like war. Are there even any other big cities around here? I've never seen such impolite and violent guests. He's right. You came here to capture Parmesia. Yes, that's right. We wanted to conquer this continent, so we came here with a single boat, which we immediately destroyed and then did nothing for a year. That's our brilliant strategy. We'll never obey you. Go away. You talk too much. Now, I will say one thing to be fair here. Our town is actually full of assholes because, and it's bizarre that Peter is sticking up for us because he came to our town to ask for help and almost got beat up and got like treated like shit by the townspeople. But now he's on our side. We are actually terrible based on our treatment of Peter. Hey Ben, why don't you say something? I can't stand this. It's because he's a silent protagonist, Peter. He can't say something. Hey you, I think I understand how you feel, but listen to me. Why? That's an excellent question. Why should he listen to this random person? I'm not from Grand Seal. I just visited there. You think they came to Parmesia to conquer it? Well, you're wrong. Because that made no sense in the first place, so you're definitely wrong. They were forced to leave their island due to a disaster. They're good people. You don't have to be so paranoid. It is true that we are refugees from a terrible disaster, but we do not appear to be particularly good people. Who are you? I'm Peter. I'm a phoenix that lives in Mt Volcano. It's sort of interesting that no one seems to know what a phoenix looks like, even though they all know what it is. Because no one recognized that he was a phoenix until he told them. A phoenix, the legendary bird? I don't know if we're legendary or not. I'm very glad to meet you. Oh, they're friends of yours. My. Of course we of Ribble will become allies of Grand Seal. I promise that we will welcome you when you visit us again. This is also the most fascinatingly stupid thing, because, like, Peter's, like, whole thing was, oh, you should trust them on their merits, but they're like, we're trusting them just because you, a phoenix that is apparently revered by everyone, happens to have said they should. So this is, like, completely the wrong lesson. It's like, if you want people to accept you, find some famous person to tell them they should. It's like, great. These people are such good friends of ours now. Okay, let's explore the town. So his dad's oh, but he never returned from the cave. It was somehow blocked. We'll probably be going there eventually. So this person is searching for a hidden door to ancient ruins, which presumably will eventually open with whatever, I don't know, thing is needed to unseal it. So there's a hidden item here. The bright honey. So those are the only two, that and the mithril were the only hidden items in this village. Let's just say hi to everyone. It's so selfish of her husband that he went to get a job to support her. Not too sure about that. Historian Passaran. So that's one historian's house. This place is like known for its ancient ruins. Oh, and here's a new party member. May the Ranger. So she's a centaur. The people in this village are cowards. When do they ever go adventuring? Well, apparently one of them went to a cave in the north and one of them went to the east. So quite a bit, I'd say. I can't take it anymore. Hey, would you mind if I joined you? Sure. May will be quite useful. I like having archers in the party, but I love that the other party members had like plot reasons to join, and she's just like, I'm bored of this town, let me go with you, even though she doesn't have any idea who we are. Also notice, in the first game, every town had a headquarters, so when we got a new party member, they'd walk to the headquarters. Here, that's not the case. I think that once we have enough party members to need to swap them out, we'll also have the caravan that lets us carry them around with us. So instead, she just follows us. Which is kind of an interesting mechanic, although the following is a little wonky, like it's not quite smooth, but it's cool. Kesseran is a historian, but Mr. Road is smarter than him. I saw a strange hollow. Does something go there? Is what you're looking for in Ribble? Those three questions did not appear to have anything to do with each other. Historian Kesseran. So Passaran and Kesseran are the historians around here, but both of them are students named Mr. Road. This guy is searching for the caravan. The caravan is the thing that will let us store items and swap party members, so find it as quickly as possible, friend. I need the Achilles sword to defeat the giant Taros in the shrine, so that's a lot of plot going on there. Obviously, we'll eventually be going in that direction and have to fight the giant Taros, but before we can, we have to find this mysterious Achilles sword. So that'll happen later. As you might have guessed by the fact that Mr. Rhodes' name is all in caps, he's a party member. And no, I have no idea why all the party members' names are in all caps when the NPCs' names are not. I have no idea why they did that. So they know that there's ancient ruins under Ribble, but they haven't figured out how to open that secret door. Obviously, we're gonna be figuring that out ourselves eventually. And presumably go down there. I actually haven't looked ahead to see if that's true, I'm just like, video game logic says yes. Our ancestors came from Rune, a southern island, long ago. Remember in the first game fighting Runefaust? Runefaust was located on the continent of Rune. So although this game doesn't you know, the characters from the first game aren't in it, and we aren't in the same locations. We don't go back to that continent, or the, to Guardiana. This is set in the same world, so this is just a little connection between the two games. We're going to Mt Volcano, Peter's hometown. And that's a lot of... Some of the Shining Force games are a little more closely tied plot-wise than others, but they're all in the same world. They recently came from Hassan, a port in the south. It was once very prosperous, but now it's desolate. I'm sure we'll be investigating that further as the game goes on. Now, there are upgraded weapons in this shop, but I'm actually not going to buy them. Oh, this is the healing item, sorry. The guy next to the weapons. And the reason I'm not going to buy them is because the last time I did this, when the recording fucked up, I discovered that in the next town, there's going to be all Niue. So we may as well wait one more battle. Although, you know, actually I'm thinking about it now because the enemies are going to get an upgrade in the next battle too. Actually, I am going to buy them. And the reason is because we have to fight a new enemy type soon. Oh, I have to sell some stuff first to make room in the inventory. We have plenty of money also. That's not really a concern. And pretty soon we're going to have to fight a battle that has some new enemy types. And I think it'll be kind of a pain to fight them without the upgraded weapons. We don't need any short spear. Just because these don't necessarily give a massive boost, but even those few points, you know, you've seen how tough the enemies generally are, that we need like 3 or 4 attacks to kill them. So, you know, it'll be kind of it'll be kind of a pain to have to deal with that. Oh wait, I clicked too fast. Let me make sure I'm buying the right one. Yes, okay. Middle sword. That is for Ben, our swordsman. Oh right, the thing... Last time I thought I had mistakenly sold and bought the same item, but that is the spear. What we have now is the short spear. Now, I'm actually... Last time I unthinkingly bought both of these, I assumed it would be necessary, but I'm assuming that you're not supposed to have quite this much gold because I was grinding, because the spear actually has higher attack than the lance, so there's no reason to buy the lance at all. The spear is just outright better. We'll eventually get to the point where, you know, just like in the first game, you have the stronger melee-only weapon and the slightly weaker 1-2 range weapon. There's an upgrade for them too, and they don't really need it, but whatever, we're not exactly running out of gold. Like, we've got 4,500 gold even after doing all this shopping. What are we gonna spend it on, right? That's the thing in these games, is that, you know, you get plenty of gold from the battles, so if you grind a bit, you'll get tons of it. Okay, so we did the shopping. And with that, it has been about half an hour, so I think let's save, and then next time we're gonna set out for the next town. Oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to click. Basically, now that we've been to Ribble, we're gonna set out to further east, basically. We have to get to Mt Volcano. And we're gonna have to go through like a tunnel and shit and fight some tough enemies. So next time, we're going to progress on our journey towards Mt Volcano, and we'll be going through like Dark Cave, basically, from Pokemon, like Rock Tunnel. And fighting a slightly tricky battle, so that'll be cool. So that's all for now. Look forward to that battle next time on Shining Force 2.